And Detlef basically said, like my mentor or guide, that yeah, the universe will help you by you becoming bankrupt and ripping the business out of your hand. And in the past, that would have been unacceptable. But since I watched the video from Matt Kahn, I think it's about the apathy of options, or like a video about surrender. He talked about how gain and loss, pain and pleasure, all these things really are just God's grace or life teaching you. So there's none of them is better than the other. And he explained it in such a good way that it makes me feel a lot more safe. So when I go through these changes that in the past would have ripped my life apart, now it's just like, oh, interesting. And I feel the fear or the pain. But now I have tools to work with that. And I know that if I feel the fear and the pain, there's no longer a problem. Like even if the business that I thought would give me and my family financial freedom and that I could use to strategically fuel my life purpose and do amazing things in the world with, like even if that's gone, then like why would I want it? Like why would I resist what is? Hey. I'm at an interesting point in my life right now because I honestly don't know where things will go from here, which is actually quite exciting because I remember that I was wishing for having a big question mark in my future. However, it wasn't as connected to anxiety or fear as it might be now. I was more so envisioning being financially free, time free, or like a traveling student who has nothing to worry about and can just relax, and out of that relaxation has the freedom to just pack his bags and travel to Africa or Asia and just be there and maybe work a little bit, travel a little bit, and so on. But yeah, now it came a little bit differently, and I managed to basically let go of most of my stuff. I reduced myself to basically just 2 big suitcases and 1 big bag, and I'll let go of one of the suitcases as well, so I'll only have 1 suitcase and maybe 1 big bag, and that's it. That's actually pretty liberating, and that gave me a lot of joy, that lightness and flexibility to just pack my bag and travel to wherever I want. And I'm so grateful that I have the privilege to travel and be a digital nomad basically. And simultaneously, I noticed how discouraging it was to hit 70K, 50K, whatever it may be, per month, and I really see how empty it is, or how I wasn't really reaping the fruits of it. And to this day, I don't completely have felt if it was actually worth it to scale my business to that point, because I was working like a maniac, 12-hour days or longer, in a hamster wheel, and basically like a slave. And therefore, I haven't really spent that money on beautiful vacations and relaxation, and also sharing that with another person that I love. And also, as you can see, I'm talking about this in very negative terms, and my coach basically said, hey, like what the fuck, like you achieved something amazing, don't talk it small, right? That's the reason why it was so discouraging, right? So I think if I approach work differently with enthusiasm, gratitude, and the right mindset, I think it would be much more fulfilling in and of itself. And simultaneously, I think reaping the fruits of my labor will also reinforce those things. And a lot of times I had huge wins, like signing 12K per month clients, and I didn't really celebrate it. Partly because I heard in the past, hey, winners just move on and don't have these huge dopamine spikes when they win. But yeah, I think I should do exactly the opposite and really start to link achievements with also peaks and rewards and whatnot. But either way, I see how while I was starting to feel the pain and getting the reflections from a mentor and another coach who was helping me surrender to pain, or had guided me into that. I'd say he's more like a guide from the peaceful warrior. And at first I was very much resisting it, but now it had become clearer and clearer how I was basically asking the universe for help to guide me through my life purpose, so I can fully follow my passion and grow my YouTube channel and build an online education company and live a life that's fully in alignment with my highest values, with the light of integrity and the love of authentic relating. And Detlef basically said, like my mentor or guide, that yeah, the universe will help you by you becoming bankrupt and ripping the business out of your hand. And in the past that would have been unacceptable, but since I watched the video from Matt Kahn, I think it's about the apathy of options, or like a video about surrender. He talked about how gain and loss, pain and pleasure, all these things really are just God's grace or life teaching you. So there's none of them is better than the other. And he explained it in such a good way that it makes me feel a lot more safe. So when I go through these changes that in the past would have ripped my life apart, now it's just like, oh, interesting. And I feel the fear or the pain, but now I have tools to work with that. And I know that if I feel the fear and the pain, there's no longer a problem. Like even if the business that I thought would give me and my family financial freedom and that I could use to strategically fuel my life purpose and do amazing things in the world with, like even if that's gone, then like why would I want it? Like why would I resist what is? And that of course requires a lot of maturity and trust and a bigger picture beyond your egoic desires and wants and needs and whatnot. So yeah, I thought I might not be ready for it, but that's exactly what surrender is, when you don't do it willingly, when you don't think that you maybe are ready or whatever. That's a real challenge. So right now it's interesting because I see two paths, right? And Detlef says there's only one path, which is the one through pain. But I see two paths, which is one, having my CEO take over the business so I can fully focus on my purpose, or my business crumbles and I focus fully on my life purpose. Either way, I see a lot of clients leaving. I see a few patterns reoccurring of chargebacks and whatnot. And I mean, Detlef said, hey, once you fully see how you created it all and you're completely willing to change, that's when things happen. So I guess I'll have to learn my lessons and fully bring my current business into integrity, or it will be gone. So I think those are the action steps I'll take, is make my business very much in integrity, especially with my new CEO. I think that's possible. And then also simultaneously, once it's in integrity, move on, right? And of course, that would be the best case scenario. But it's funny because when I feel that gratitude, I also simultaneously, when I try to manifest that, I feel pain and it feels inauthentic. So I feel like I first have to feel the pain to be free to manifest that. So it's interesting because I'm not willing to go through that grind and do something that's out of alignment. So I'm not willing to force things anymore, no matter if it's in business or in relationships. Also, I noticed in dating how I'm not really interested anymore in just picking up. I'm much more interested in naturally letting a soul connection unfold, which is very interesting. And I'm sure this has a lot to do with feeling the pain and maturing through that process. Breathwork is helping me a lot right now, meditation. But yeah, the really what I noticed while I was doing breathwork and being my most authentic self, how really I'm not like no matter how much my ego wants to be wants something, like my soul knows that it's that it's free and ready to surrender to go to a higher destiny. Like I can so clearly see how when I just start my YouTube channel and follow my passion, how that will resolve everything. That will resolve how I earn money, that will resolve my integrity, that will resolve my love relationships, because when I'm coming from this deep core of having faced my pain and truly living and embodying and expressing my gift and my divine purpose, how at that point I have no more needs and I am naturally attracting and relating with others, where we can truly celebrate our innocence, and there's no more wanting or playing games or trying to orchestrate something, because I've almost felt like when I had all these riches, how it felt like I was lying to myself. Like it's like, and it felt corrupt, right? Almost like I have a bad business, like a slaughterhouse or selling oil or something that destroys the environment. Obviously, that's not the case, but most people would say it's a fairly neutral business. But with my personal integrity and my high standards, it's ripping my heart apart, and it doesn't feel. It feels like it's separating. It's fragmenting and separating my life. I feel like when I'm following my life purpose, it all becomes one. It all like every conversation I have with a stranger is a inspiration for a new YouTube video and worth the time, being fully present, because it's part of my purpose. Whereas when I'm working, then all these wonderful small things like conversations and enjoying and relaxing suddenly become a distraction from the work, because you need to sit down and focus, and basically you are selling your soul with that, because you are working for something that's outside of expressing your joy. You are working for something to get joy rather than expressing from joy. And yeah, with that, everything becomes just like something that you satisfy yourself with, and egoic consumption rather than creation, right? Authentic creation. Okay, that was a big ramble. It's a little bit more clear in my head than how I expressed it. But yeah. It's like I know I could, and I would love to hire a CEO, train him up, and then move on to my life purpose. But simultaneously, I have doubt in that, which is why, and I'm not much longer willing to invest so much effort into it. So then the question becomes, it feels a little bit, I have the intuition that I like, it's almost like I want to feel that pain and go through that route. And like intimately, I know that I maybe don't even want to run that business even when someone else does it, because it's not like fully in integrity. But then again, I can question all of these things and ask myself, hey, if you think you can get good results with ads, then pick a service where you can get good results, and or provide an impeccable service like email, for example, email marketing. And if you have something like that, you can only work with sustainable companies, and you can have and attract clients with transparent marketing and integrity. And then you can hire a CEO. But then the question is, do you want to do all of that? Like, are you willing to put your precious life, time and energy into something that just earns you money? Well, you could say yes, because then it helps you do the other stuff, but like, if I knew that right now I could earn a living with an upward trajectory, with a lot of potential, through coaching people and like doing something where I truly know something that matters, that helps relieve suffering, that's helping people go through the things where I had transformed myself, then that would be so much more fulfilling and energizing and selfless. On the other hand, the struggle I'm going through right now can also help so many people that are waking up in a corrupt job or work environment or business they've built. So the lesson, it's actually quite fascinating, because I'm very curious to see what comes out of this on the other end. Because I just could go the safe way, but I am very aware of not wanting to go into a hamster wheel. So even though there are two doubts, like, can I actually make it successful even with a new CEO, and how long will that take, you know? So maybe I should talk more to Bash about this. All right. Bye bye. Good night.